Hey everybody, it's us again, and we're live again. Today we're talking about social media and the relevancy of it. What's the deal with the shirt? Why are you hating on my shirt?
You've got another one of these shirts that make no sense and is backwards.
First of all, no. Second of all, no.
There you go.
It's a reminder that saying no is important. But what we're going to talk about is, okay, so unless you've been living in a bubble or under a rock, you probably know what's up with United right about now. I was spending quite a bit of time yesterday and even this morning on Twitter being completely and thoroughly amused by these social media reactions to that poor gentleman being literally drugged off of a plane, which is, kind of...
And I would have done the exact same freaking thing.
What?
It make them drag me off.
Oh, you would have made them drag you off the plane?
If I have got a ticket and I'm in my damn seat, all comfy and ready to go, don't bother my ass and tell me I gotta leave.
Right.
You should have done it at the time of booking.
Right.
You should not let him on the plane in the first place. If you have a problem because you freaking overbooked and your freaking employees who I'm sure could get on another airline because it's very easy to get other employees on another airline and fly them to
United's not the only company that flies to Louisville.
That big of a deal. And I realize there is a law that states or whatever, there's a regulation or whatever that's allowable, but it's usually done at the terminal where they say, I'm sorry, we've overbooked, we can't let you in, we haven't given you a seat. And yes, I know that they do that all the time where they give vouchers and they give things of that nature, and I've been on planes where they do it all the time, and I think one time I took a voucher because it was like 40 minutes or something the next flight. It was a Southwest flight or something ridiculous. It wasn't that much. But if you don't feel like it, I wouldn't do it. And then if you want, pull me off. Let's let the lawsuits begin.
But again, something like this would not have spread as virally or as quickly if it was not for social media.
Correct.
And that's what I'm getting at when I'm saying social media is so relevant in our day and age right now because, with social media, things that the public would generally not even be aware of, sometimes even at all, they're becoming acutely aware of.
They would have swept it up under the rug.
Yeah.
They would have swept it under the rug, and it would never have gotten relevant. But what happened is that video gets out and it blew up. I mean, like crazy. They said, I think, what is it? China has 100 million views already, and that's one of the biggest markets they're trying to go to. And what? Hey, the guy's Chinese. Ooh,
Well, and I mean, there's been worldwide reaction to it, not just in the U.S. There's been literally worldwide headlines just based on this video and this kind of David and Goliath mentality of you've got this huge corporation who was releasing statements and putting them out on social media up until about 25 minutes ago that were attacking the passenger. Now they're very sorry for this horrible incident and will be looking into their customer service procedures.
Well, they got the backlash. If they didn't get the backlash, because if you saw the initial things from the owner, it was like, he followed procedures, this guy was being obstinate, he wouldn't leave, so we did this. It wasn't one of our employees did it, blah, 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 and all this, non-apologetic crap. And, it's funny, some of the media said, well, this guy had these, charges, 10 years ago. Doesn't freaking matter whether he had charges 10 years ago. Did they know he had charges 10 years ago when they pulled him off the plane? No. Doesn't really matter. It's not relevant to what happened at this time. But you can see how it blows up on social media. And then there was a small bit of backlash towards the guy on social media, but mostly assholes. I mean, 99% are still on his side. I think United earlier today had lost $1 billion worth of their stock. I think they rallied somewhat, but it's still an astronomical number of what they lost in their total stock. So it just goes to show you that social media can be very impactful to anything. And if you're not using it as a platform and you're just going out there and just say, hey, I've got a Facebook page and I'll throw something else out there once in a while, and I never tried to engage. Well, you're missing the boat. You really are, because everybody's on social media.
Well, and really, when we're talking about social media, there's two ways to engage. You can engage either A as your brand or B as your personal account. And personally, for most people, I think you need both, and I think you need both on a pretty consistent basis. So, for example, you need to engage on your page regularly, and I came up with a pretty damn good idea that we're going to be rolling out pretty quickly to help improve organic engagement as far as, on a Facebook page. And it's something that's very easily replicatable as well. But in addition to that, it's, you've got to engage also on your personal account. And what does that mean? Well, it means it's not enough to just go out and post something and pray and hope that the public responds to it. You have to do it with a very strategic intent. And you've got to take the time to actually go through every day. And I have a whole blueprint that I created that outlines this every single day. You've got to go and, like other people's posts, comments, shares, threads, and interact with people. Because at the end of the day, all social media is a tool, is a huge room. And in that room, you're starting a conversation and then carrying on a conversation with another human being. You need to do that both as your brand and as your personal self. And there's a couple little tricks that I've actually released in some videos I've done on YouTube that do help increase your organic engagement and shows you how to step-by-step interact as your page.
Well, and some of the big people out there don't necessarily have to have personal pages. So we're not talking about those folks. We're not talking about the folks that have already got 200,000.
Well, no, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
We're talking about the people that have got, 1,000, 500. It's good to engage on both. But it's also good to have a strategic plan on how you post to both.
Yes.
You don't want to, like I said, you don't want to necessarily be posting frivolous things on Facebook on your business page. Now Instagram is a different story. You could do a mixture of different things because it's kind of telling a story of you and your business. So it's not necessarily, it's a difference in Facebook. I think Facebook, you want to stick to your business stuff. It's okay to do some funny things now and again. But again, you don't want to be posting all your personal crap on Facebook, business page and things of that nature. I mix my Instagram and I've gotten a lot of success. I took mine from 0 or 2 to 1,000 in about 2 weeks by mixing it up and putting, stuff that was business related and then personal related and funny videos of her and things of that nature, but all tagging it with, because Instagram's very big on hashtags. So hashtagging it with social media marketing, digital marketing, Valkeryie, all the things that are going, more so than Facebook is with hashtags. It's still relative, but Instagram is much more of a tool.
Well, yeah, because Facebook you want to do about 1 or 2 hashtags, and Instagram you want to do at least 10. Per post.
Yeah.
And there's actually an app that I found. It's called Auto Hash, and it's apparently only for Droid at the moment. But if you upload a picture to the Auto Hash, it will actually give you the 10 most relevant hashtags for that photo. So it's a pretty cool way for you to find and administer different hashtags as you're uploading things to your Instagram account.
So and a lot of people, I think that their complaint is I don't have time to do all this stuff. And well, if you don't have time, there's tools that do it for you. So there's tools out there that, will actually go and when I say for, you still have to schedule them, but it's much easier. You can do, a month's worth of work in a couple of hours, 3 or 4 hours of posting, depending on what, platforms you're on, or you pay people like us to do it for you.
Well, you see me do it every single month where I'm on there and I'm creating a strategy for different businesses and companies and pages, and I'll get 100% of their social media posting done in a day.
Yeah.
So it's like 1 day per company or account, but it's a full day's worth of work, but it's reaping that rewards in being, consistent on their pages. So they're consistently pushing out good content under a very strategic umbrella.
So
but it kind of going back and tying back into United, customers will react on social media, whether they've personally been wronged or not, if they're seeing something like this. And there was a story that I heard recently that was actually pretty interesting. It was posted in one of my groups, and it was a really good story. They were talking about this kind of David and Goliath versus mentality, and there was this woman who had been treated very, very poorly by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, couldn't get anywhere. There was nobody there to make a viral video of what had happened to her. So despite her multiple attempts to reach out to Enterprise and a corporation where she was consistently ignored, she took out an ad on Facebook with a letter directed to Enterprise executives. And within 24 hours, her complaint was literally resolved. She did a grand total of, I believe it was $10.84 in ad spend, and was actually able to be reimbursed over $1,000 of the money they had taken from her just by taking out a Facebook ad. So, viral video is relevant.
It's negative press and or, what they would call social proof.
Yeah.
And it's funny that we get a lot of customers that will go in and try to delete it or try to get something in. It's like just like United, they're kind of basically ignored it. You don't ignore it.
No, you
if
can't.
you get a bad review, you go in and say, well, hey, sorry this happened. What can we do to make it better for you? You don't ignore it. And that's what a lot of people do, or they try to figure out a way to delete it or do this and do that. And we're telling them, well, hey, it's on Google Plus. If you do have Google, you can't delete that. There's nothing you can do, or they'll they'll shut their Yelp off or whatever because they've had 3 bad reviews. And that's exactly the wrong thing to do. Mm-hmm. You go straight to, we also do that reputation management. We'll go do that for you. But that's something you should be doing as a company if something happens, whether it's not correct at all, whether it's some disgruntled customer that's been a complete ass. Everybody gets to see that. So they don't know what's going on in the background. So you, as a business owner, need to go in and be diligent and say, okay, sorry this happened, or explain what happened and said, well, this is what happened, this is what's going on, we try to rectify it, this is unreasonable, whatever, but you have to do something for your reputation. So if you have that 1.0 or that 2.0 on, whatever, on Google or whatever, you have to try to do that and try to get some actual, better, recommendations for you. Some 5.0s. That way, you get that score up.
Well, and giving customers incentives, for example, for leaving a positive review, is always a great strategy to counteract or counterbalance negative reviews that you might get. But regardless of that, when you get a negative review, and I'm not saying if, I'm saying when, because it happens to literally every business around the world, somebody at some point is going to get pissed off and they're going to talk shit on, your business page or somewhere else, and that's fine. But you have to address that appropriately, and you've got to engage with those reviews appropriately and be able to go in and say, hey, no, this is not correct. As a matter of fact, I saw a police department do a fantastic job of this, where a woman went on and reviewed a police officer and, was saying that she was very upset because then she was late to work because she got a ticket and, this guy pulled her over unjustly, blah, blah, blah. And the police office responded with the dash cam video on the review, and they said, no, ma'am, I'm sorry, this is not exactly what happened. You were pulled over for going 65 in a 35 mile an hour zone. The officer noticed that you had a warrant and let you off with a warning. But here's the dash cam. So they responded to it in a sense of, hey, no, we're not going to put up with this because you're calling us out wrongly. And that's okay to do sometimes as a business owner too when that's appropriate. But the whole key thing is you have to engage. You can't be like United. You can't, be like Pepsi and just say, we don't care. It's the customer's fault. And then, change your tune when your stocks start plummeting. You have to kind of approach it with the sense of, yes, there is a sense of right and wrong, but at least say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, regardless of whether or not you're a raging beast of an asshole, what can we do to try to make you happy?
I see this costing them billions of dollars. I do. In the long run.
Oh, well.
Their people are pissed. And they're trying to go into China. And you did this to a Chinese American. I don't think that's going to go over very well. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. And you can nip those things in the bud when you do something wrong. You own it.
Yeah.
Say, hey, we'll do whatever we can, to get your business, or we'll make it right. We'll do whatever you can. Just own it, because if 1,000 people see that, and even right or wrong, 1,000 people just saw a bad review on you, and that's not good for you.
Well, and United is a pretty extreme case of bad review.
Correct.
We're talking about this video, but.
Correct.
If people are seeing it over and over and over again, and people are, hashtagging boycott United, don't spend your money there. The stocks have taken a literal nosedive overnight. And it's gonna hurt United not just now, but in the future. And largely, it's hurting United because of the way they handled that PR to begin with, the way they handled
Correct.
What would be for a smaller business a negative review.
Yeah, if they would have come back and said, hey, we're going to do everything we can to do that. I'm sure there would still been backlash. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think it would have been as bad as it is right now. They could have taken the opportunity to, actually come with some kind of human response that, hey, this shouldn't happen ever kind of a deal. And that didn't happen. And, they got, and then social media, they got a hold of the CEO's letters to the employees. And that's not good either.
No.
That got out too on social media. And it's like, his letter is like, we did everything we're supposed to do. I'm proud of our employees, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, it doesn't look real good when you're dragging somebody down a thing, whether or not it was your employee or not, it was on your plane.
Right.
And you had that guy dragged, and then it comes back bleeding. It's just crazy stuff. So, it's very important to do reputation management, for one. Very important to be aware of everything that's going on in your social media. You can't just ignore it. I know it's a lot of work sometimes, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be, because you can actually hire people to do that for you if you need it. There's tools that'll help you do it.
Which, for a lot of people, I think is also very relevant, because one thing that I hear a lot as CEO of our company is, well, I don't know what to post. People are just lost. They don't know what they should be posting, so then they paralyze themselves into this fear of posting nothing, which literally, when you do nothing, you net nothing. You're not going to get anything if you're not working on something to engage. And the truth of the matter is, for every business is different in as much as what they should be posting, and when they should be posting as well. There's a lot of work that goes into developing a strategy of what's going to post when, what's going to be the most relevant for this business. And to be perfectly frank with you, for many, it's trial and error.
Correct.
Where you're going to try something, you're going to see if it works with that audience and see how the audience responds to that. Then you're going to go back in, you're going to look at your analytics, and you're going to say at that point, okay, this worked, this didn't, so clearly we need to do more of this and less of that. And it's all just coming down to, at the end of the day, knowing the relevancy for your audience, what's important to them. And if you don't know what the relevancy or level of importance to your audience is, there's a really easy way to solve that problem. Ask.
Well, and it's funny too. I think a lot of people are afraid to spend money on social media, and I don't understand why. Say you have a post and it's doing well, and you've got 40 engagements out of it. Boost that post for $10. Hell, that'll get you another 300 or 400 people that see it, and you get one lead for $10. Is that a win? Unless you're selling stuff for $9.95, I think it is.
Even if you're selling stuff for $9.95, 9 times out of 10 you're going to have an upsell, so you're going to have an opportunity to resell that customer on something else.
And you're getting people that see you, because it takes several times to actually see you, and then they see, oh, okay, I saw that before, let me go look at it again. Or you can retarget it again. Retarget, we talked about in another video, all those people that looked at your post. So it's a small investment to get a lot of eyes on your content. So if you're not doing that,
it's all about brand awareness at the end of the day. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's software programs and things I use that literally over the past 30 days get approximately 4.3 million views on our content for our company, because I've learned different tricks and tools of the trade over time that actually help build that brand awareness and help maintain that level of trust. But with that being said, you also have to be consistent. You can't do 3 days worth of social posts and then go dark for 2 months. You have to be consistent, which means daily, top of mind awareness. That means daily posting. It means daily engagement as your page, as your brand, and as you personally. And if some of you are kind of cringing right now and you're saying, holy shit, that's a lot of work. Yeah, it is. But that's why you have companies to do it for you. The average social media manager who works 40 hours a week, and we're just talking social media management without graphic design or anything else, is an investment to a company of approximately $50,000 a year. So, when you're outsourcing your social media, are you paying $50,000 a year? No, you're really not. The average cost of social media management is between $1,000 and $4,000 per month. So you're paying quite a bit less, and small businesses can get away with paying less when they are outsourcing. But you can't just say, oh, social media doesn't work for me, thusly it's irrelevant. United Airlines has shown us that social media is not only relevant, but it is completely in your face, and it can impact your business positively or negatively depending on how you're handling your business. Now, if you're not as big as United Airlines yet, no need to fear, no need to sweat. It's just a matter of looking and reverse engineering, your competition. What's working for your competition? That's a great way to figure out what you should be posting. Because if you're going to try to attract some of the audience that your competitors have, then it would make sense that you're following a similar strategy. Now, should you duplicate that strategy post for post? I don't think that's a workable, viable solution at all. As I always say, you have to put your own unique spin and unique flavor on things, because if you don't, it comes off as rather disingenuous and inauthentic.
Inauthentic. And I mean, and even sometimes we're, guilty because we get busy working on other clients' stuff. And even in the past, sometimes it's like, oh, we probably really haven't done anything really organic ourselves in the last few days, and we got to get off our butts. It's been kind of scheduled posts, and it's kind of, so it gets a little bit. So you see, even a few days, it's like, oh wow, nobody responded to that. But we're working for other people getting their stuff. Sometimes we just run into that thing where, we don't have time to actually do those, truly organic posts that are, people go out there and respond to. It's just kind of like that corporate, hey, here's this, here's that. So you got to mix, I think, do a mix of both. You got to be spontaneous as well. Say something just happened great with my company today. I need to talk about it. Or I got a sale today. I got to talk about it. All those kind of things are showing that you're being engaging with your audience, and it's showing your audience that it's you. It's not just some automated tool doing it. Well, I think it's important as well. It
is important, and in this age of video, it's important to be able to go on and share that. But I also will say this, because I have the presence of mind and the foresight to actually go in and schedule posts, both on my personal accounts and also on my business accounts and for other businesses, I'll tell you what that does over time. It increases the amount of messages you get on a day-to-day basis, because all of a sudden somebody who meant to message you a week ago and ask you a question or say, hey, what would it cost me to do this in my business, will all of a sudden see your post and will be triggered. Oh my God, I need to message them. I forgot to do that. And I cannot tell you how many times. I mean, I average anywhere between 24, 25 messages per day privately, just on one platform. If we're looking at my Instagram, there's more than that as well. So, when I'm getting all these messages, I'm getting them because I have these posts scheduled, and poof, I'm brought back into, top of mind for somebody, or our company is brought in top of mind for somebody, which is a great way to, increase your business organically. But again, that ties back into consistency. If you are not consistent, your audience is not going to keep you top of mind. I mean, it's funny to me that we'll still get in the mail, like, postcards or, calendars or recipe cards for real estate agents. They don't stay top of mind. Unfortunately, they go in the trash, not just in this house, but in many other houses around the country. Whereas if somebody is on social media and talking about, what they do, how they've improved somebody's life, how they've done something to help somebody else, what they're doing in their business by showing numbers and statistics and things like that, that's what cultivates trust and what cultivates relationships with people.
Correct.
Because it's not always out there saying, hey, look at me. It's like hey, here's a problem, here's how we solved it. And if you approach social media posting with that mentality, like, okay, what's the problem that I'm seeing a lot with my, that my customers are having, and how can I as a business solve that problem?
Yeah, just going out there, hey, I'm the number one realtor, blah, 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 blah.
No one cares.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I did this for this customer, and I did this and this. Somebody came really busy. I sold their house in 3 days, and I, blah, 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 blah. You got to give them a story and something that, they can relate to. I mean, it has to be a, here's where something was, here's where I took it. Kind of a deal. It can't just be out, hey, and touting yourself all the time.
No, and it can't just be, hey, here's a picture of a house. If it's not designed to capture a lead and maintain that lead, either via a messenger chatbot, or B, by capturing an email address, or C, which is even better, doing both, you're not going to get anywhere. And there's so many sources of untapped leads out there. Like I tell real estate agents all the time, if you're a real estate agent in San Antonio, Texas, you can get an literally unlimited free stream of leads with customers who have a problem but who are looking for a solution. And here's how you do it. You go on Twitter and you type in a phrase, and it's a very simple phrase to type in. You type in moving to San Antonio, and what that's going to do is pull up every single tweet that has been posted for people who are using the phrase, I'm moving to San Antonio, or I'm thinking of moving to San Antonio. Guess what? That's who you're going to tweet. That's who you're going to contact. So, you know, if you're a little gun shy about having a posting strategy, you build it based on that. You listen to what customers are saying and, you know, what questions are they asking. Quora is another fantastic resource that you can use as a business owner to go and see what questions are people asking. And then you as a business owner create content, whether it be a blog, a video, a tweet, a Facebook post, whatever the hell it is. But you as a business owner can go in and create content around answering that question, i.e. solving that problem. But
you can also just ask your own questions.
Yes, absolutely.
As a business owner. You know, what's your number one problem with this? What's, you know, whatever, you know, all these things. Or, hey, what are you having difficulty with? Kind of things, you know. There's things that you can ask your customers, you know, related to your business and see what they tell you. And then you can form your post around that. You know, there's ways you can do these kind of things. You can do a survey, quick little survey. Hey, blah, 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 you know, this, or this. You'd be surprised how many people like that, respond to that. It'll just click a little button. And you just found, hey, people would rather talk about this than this.
Correct.
Go ahead.
And, you know, people all the time are more than, they're more than happy or they're going to be more likely than not to engage with you if they actually feel like you give a shit about what they're saying. You know, if you act like you don't care, or if you literally don't care, then probably don't ask a question, because it's not going to do you any good. But asking the question makes a big difference.
And it's funny, a lot of people are getting, man, I'm surprised. I thought they were like worried about this, and they really want this. It's like really funny to see different businesses and different niches, and they'll always say, it's like, man, I thought I was concentrating on this, and my customer really wants, you know, this kind of, you know, help or product or whatever. And it's like, wow, light bulb, you know, because they asked some questions and they took a survey and they did some things. So it's a useful tool.
It's kind of like I always say, people who have the attitude that social media is either A, not relevant, or B, doesn't work for them. First off, the relevancy thing, we're just going to toss out the window because that's BS. It is relevant. United Airlines has proven it's relevant. Pepsi has proven it's relevant. Big box brands all around the world have proved its relevance. Smaller, you know, businesses have even proven how relevant it is by watching social media be the number one source of fueling their growth and ultimately their bottom line. So there is a lot of relevancy in social media. Now, for those of you who say social media doesn't work, it's a tool just like anything else. The tool is only as good as the user. You put a hammer in my hands, I'm going to fuck shit up because I've got no business with a hammer in my hands. You put social media in my hands, I can do something magical with it. You know, it's all in creating that strategy by reverse engineering your customer base, your competition's customer base, and knowing what's important to people and how you can solve those unique problems. At the end of the day, if you want a really simple hack for social media, think about the two things that are important to just about everybody. Two things that are important to just about everybody is time and money. People love an opportunity to save time and money. But if you're going to solve that problem on how you are going to save them time and money, you have to create a strategy on how you're going to do that. So what's more convenient about your business than the guy down the street? What's going to save your customers more time? And then that's where your marketing hat gets put on and where your marketing strategy thusly begins. So, you know, if you ask yourselves these two simple questions, how can I help my customers save time and money? Everything else really starts to fall into place because your customers will react more, they'll message you more, they'll engage with you more. And, you know, that's part of where social media relevancy does come into play because, you know, everybody's busy. And you know, 9 times out of 10, if you go to the grocery store and you're standing in line, what are people doing? They're not engaging with people face to face. They're on their phones. They're looking through their Facebook feeds. They're looking through their Twitter feeds. They're on Instagram. So, you know, you've got that attention. You've got people trapped in that box. And part of that has to do with psychology. Because every time somebody likes a post or makes a comment on a post that you do or your company does, your brain gets a shot of dopamine. It's the same thing. It's a chemical that basically makes you happy. It's the same thing when, you know, you're engaging on somebody else's post. You're giving them that shot of dopamine. So, that's another reason that social media has become so important. And in many cases, it's actually become addictive for most people because that dopamine can become a very addictive chemical in your brain. But that does not in any way, shape, or form take away from the relevancy of it. And I've talked to a few people who are like dead set against, they want to be off the grid. If you personally want to be off the grid, I get it, be off the grid all day long. Don't use social media. For your business, you kind of have to suck it up. You really do. I mean, it's social media is no longer a suggestion when it comes to advertising, administering, and running your business. It is a necessity. And
the good old boy network still exists in some areas, but eventually it's going to go away. I mean, in my opinion,
people die, people retire.
Yeah, how long is that good old boy network going to keep going? And people are getting bigger, faster, using social or being dynamic with their business practices. And, maybe in some small town, you don't need social media because everybody in that town, and all you care about is that town business. Okay, I get that. You're a cow farmer. I don't know, whatever it is. Maybe.
FarmersOnly.com. How big did that get?
But, there are exceptions to the rule. I can get that. I mean, if you only do government contracts well, you just work with your government contracts, kind of a thing. That's all you do. So there's exceptions to certain things.
Of course, there always are.
But for the most part, if you have a brick and mortar business, if you have any kind of small business, if you have any kind of entrepreneurship,
and for God's sake, if you have an online business, come on,
you better be doing something. You better not just be having it out there and hoping people are going to find you, because that's not going to happen.
And there's actually a couple of sites that I'm going to be releasing as case studies in the next couple of weeks that will actually show you. And in videos, like how a social strategy should be built into your website. And having a social, not just social, hey, follow me, like my page, but having people have a reason to engage with your page and, follow you on these different platforms, but continuously do so that you are staying top of mind. Because when you're giving your customer something, whether it's a 10% discount off of your first purchase or, hey, tag yourself on my Instagram account to win, a free 5-pound bag of coffee every month, whatever it is, whatever is relevant for your business, it's vital at this point to not just have a website as a website in its own separate entity, but to also have a social strategy that is programmed into that website. So, I've got a lot of really good examples coming up, and there's a lot of different ideas that I have for, basic engagement in addition to page I can't talk today. Paid, there we go, engagement. There's a lot of different things that we're working on and a lot of different things that we're launching and preparing for everybody. But, the question of whether or not social media is relevant has been answered at least in the last 24 hours, unless of course.
Well, it had always been answered, but
yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of like really shows what could happen so quickly,
and why you cannot afford to ignore it, because whether you personally believe in social media or not, your customers do. And it's like I say to people all the time: it doesn't matter if you like it, it doesn't matter if I like it. It matters if customers like it. Yeah. And that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
And what's taking over? The Gen X people are taking over. They are, the baby boomers were, they're in retirement, they're going into it. It's all the Gen X people who grew up with all this stuff. So if you're not, using it, I don't know what to tell you, because, they do this at their fingertips, and they're much better than I am, on their phones and things that I've ever been able to be. They're boom, 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 just doing all kinds of different things. I think I'm okay at it, but it's not like some of these people that get on there that just, can do, 10 different things on their phone, like nothing. But you just have to understand that it's going to keep going that way, and it's going to continue to go that way. And if you're not on the train, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
So, to kind of close this out, my advice to you is, if you're worried about social media or what to post, or still questioning about it, either A, hire somebody, or B, at least go out today and start a conversation on your social media. Start a conversation. Ask a question.
Ask a question.
And start
run a contest.
Yeah.
Fantastic thing to do. Run a contest.
Make a habit out of engaging with other people every single day. Because remember that thing I told you about dopamine. it's important because it's all the WIFM principle. You know, what's in it for me? It's all really people care about at the end of the day, because we are all, at our core, selfish creatures who want to know what we can get out of it. If you point at me one more time, you're going to lose a finger. Oh, no, you didn't.
That woman.
What I'm getting at with this, though, is if you kind of put yourself in your customer's shoes, then you're going to get a lot better engagement and response on your social media. You know, what are your problems? How can I solve them? So I'm going to close this out by trying to be engaging with you. What are your problems and how can I solve them? Caveat to that and disclaimer, please do not tell me about your personal problems. That's not my area of expertise. Business problems, yes. Personal problems, no. It's like if you want to tell me about your personal problems, you're going to read my shirt. First of all, no. Second of all, no. So business problems all day. Personal problems, not so much. Would you have anything that you would like to add, dear?
No, I'm good. Just that, just contact us if you need help. We're here.
Like I said, we've got tons of different groups. I've posted different links and articles. If you guys are curious about some of the YouTube videos that I have put out, training-wise, some of them are private. As a matter of fact, many of them are unlisted and private because I do them with a very specific intent. So you will have to contact me for those. If there's a certain question you have, 9 times out of 10, I've got a video or training on it that I'm more than happy to provide to you. And there's even more of that coming down the line. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. And if he doesn't stop his shit, I'm going to United Airlines your ass like, oh yeah, it's going to happen. Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, whatever.
But anyway, hope you guys have a fantastically wonderful day. Remember, go out, start a conversation today, and,
Little pig. Oh, sorry.
Go out and start a conversation on your social media. Ask a question. But remember, engage with other people. Make them feel special. So have a good one. We'll see you guys soon.
Adios.